I wanted to make this video talk about how to push past feeling burnout. And I remember my biggest fear of starting a business or starting any habit really was this concept that everyone was like, oh, you're gonna feel burned out at some point, and just a fear of feeling burned out. And I was thinking that it's like this, I don't know, monster of like, damn, then how is it that few people are able to push past it, but majority just get burned out and stop growing, right? Stop moving. And I was fortunate enough to have the right mentors that had been doing what they were doing for past 20 years and plus, and they shared some of the points with me, and I'll share a few of them here, not all of them. If you want all of them, you have to reach out one-on-one, but a few of them, a few main ones is on the days where you feel completely burned out, right? And I'll talk about my experience as well, obviously, and then take whatever applies to you and then disregard the rest. But normally whenever I would feel burned out is I used to have this mindset of I need to achieve this thing in a very short amount of time. And because I was thinking that way, then I was like pushing my physical body, pushing my mind to like the extremes, because I was like, I need to have this now. Like, imagine if I wanted to work out, I'm like, I need to have a six-pack in a month, right? And like all these goals. And because in the society where we live in, it's like we're always impulse with this instant gratification of wanting things right now. But what that would do is it's like I'm pushing my body past a certain point, and on the days where then at some point your body's like, hey, I need some rest, we take that as like, oh, I feel burned out, I don't want to do anything anymore. And we take that as a sign of, oh, I guess this isn't meant to be. And now I realize it's just that your body needs some rest. And then so that was the first point. It's like I had to shift my mindset to, instead of getting something in a month, I was like, what can I think about, or how can I set my goal so that I think of this as like a long-term thing and not just short-term, right? Like if I want to get in shape, I was like, okay, what would make me want to work out in the long term, and then what type of workouts, right? Or in a business, it's like, what type of business, right? How long will this industry even be here, and can I even do this over 30-40 years, right? And that shifts your whole mentality, and all of a sudden you come up with ideas of how to do that. Like for my workout, I don't go every day and I'm like, oh, I have to work out for an hour and I have to only do gym, this, whatever, right? I'm like, okay, what type of workout do I like? And for me, it's like calisthenics and sometimes weights and all that stuff. So it's like a mix of both. And each day, it's like whatever time I have, I just go to the gym. Some days it's like an hour, some days it's 45 minutes, some days 30 minutes, or sometimes I have to just pull up a 15-minute ab workout or hip workout or whatever, because that's all I have, right, on that day. And then there's certain days where it's like I absolutely don't feel like going to the gym at all or working out at all, like zero energy, maybe even feel sleepy, whatever, tired, right? And on those days, I'm like, okay, let me go to the gym. And my gym is just downstairs at the place I live at, right? Because I don't want to spend all that time to just drive to a gym and all that stuff. But for you could do whatever. But for me, I'm like, let me just go inside the gym and not worry about, oh, I need to lose a certain, calorie or whatever. I'm just gonna go and just do whatever I feel like it, right? So sometimes I go to the gym and I just pick up the weight and I do whatever exercise I feel like doing. And then that all of a sudden brings back this mood of, oh shit, okay, I like this and so forth. And then I do the next exercise. And all of a sudden I did a whole workout, right? Just because I went to the gym and just did whatever, right? And I didn't even think about how perfect it is or how whatever it is. And this has been one of the keys for me to continuously work out and stick to that. And in terms of business, I'm like, okay, instead of focusing on how many sales I need to make or whatever, there's certain days where I'm like, I absolutely don't feel like talking to anyone or whatever. I'm like, let me just at least call one person, or let me look up on, there's an app called Meetup, and you could go, there's a meetup for people who go hiking, who go play volleyball, whatever. And I'm like, let me just go to things that I enjoy doing. And then naturally I end up just talking to someone, and then boom, all of a sudden got a new lead and so forth, right? So that's one thing, is the mindset of how can you make it long-term instead of just short-term right now. That's one of the main things, right? And any of this, if you have any questions, leave it in the comments and I'll try to help you out, or you could just directly reach out to me on Instagram or whatever. The second point is having one day, and this is, it doesn't seem like a big deal, but it does make a big difference, is instead of every day doing work and all that. I know there's certain entrepreneurs that are like, no, work 7 days a week and blah, 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 right? But it's like, that's not what they did when they first started out, or they don't talk about the times where they just gave up and weren't working on their business, because it's not sustainable physically, right? At least for the average person, right? Certain people have a certain DNA where they could push through, but I'm just assuming that's not you, because that wasn't me, okay? If that was you, you wouldn't be watching this video. So throughout the week, pick one day, for me it's Sunday, where actively you plan on doing nothing, right? And this is very important, right? Because it's like, on that day, it's like, family's like, oh, let's hang out, let's do whatever. Actually, on that day, I hang out with family, but I don't try to do any activities, or I don't try to do anything that requires me to think or push myself physically as much. That's like active rest day. And that's been huge, because it's like, okay, throughout the week, I go and I push myself, you know, from Monday all the way to Saturday. But then Sunday, I take the whole day and just rest, just recharge, right? And that's been really huge. Any successful person that I've seen, they all do this, right? You could listen to them and they all tell you they have one day, typically Sunday, where they just spend it with their family or whatever the case might be, right? So those are the main two huge points. But again, one, active rest day. Two, the point of long-term, because the long-term thing, and understand, we're raised in a society where no one teaches you that, like, no one gives a shit about what you're passionate about, what you're whatever. Because I've heard people, they're like, oh, do what you're passionate about, but it's like, okay, but there's gonna be certain days where you're not passionate at all, right? It doesn't matter how much you enjoy doing the thing. So just going based on passion alone isn't gonna push you through those days where you feel burned out, right? So on those days, it's actually just looking at the bigger why of like, why did you start this in the first place, and kind of like reminding yourself of why you got into this, right? And that will get you to be like, okay, like, I remember now, I wanted to do XYZ because I'm gonna make my mom proud, or everyone was telling me I can't do it, and now this is a way to show them like I'm capable, or whatever the case may be. Being clear on your why, and then write it on paper, right? Have white paper everywhere and blue ink. I don't know the full science behind it, but I've learned this from, again, a guy who made billions of dollars. And he said, always use white paper and blue ink if you want to accomplish stuff, right? Or manifest or whatever. So write your goals on pieces of paper. Write down things, motivational quotes, right? Like, print motivational quotes. Even though I don't move myself just based on motivation, I have motivational quotes everywhere, because it pushes you through those days where you don't feel like doing anything, right? So those are a few main ones. Now, if you want more and specific stuff and goal setting and how to find actually the business that you're in, maybe that's not even the right business you're in. It's just maybe you got sold on being in that business because you saw on Instagram people were taking vacations and whatever, and that's the business they had, right? And you're like, I'm gonna do that. But it's like, you have to really understand what's going on within certain industries, because deep down you're not gonna want to do it because you don't actually believe in that thing. It's just you saw some other people drive a Lamborghini and you're like, I want to do that, but that's not how things work, right? And again, you could go through my channel, look at my videos. Like the first car I bought was like a really nice Mercedes, and then my second car was a 6-figure car, and I live in a luxury place. I bought all these watches and all this stuff. So it's like I have the physical manifestations of things that people want. So the stuff I'm telling you is not theory. Like, this is actual fact of what worked for me and what worked for hundreds of other people that I've shared this with. It's like a law, right? It's not even a theory, okay? But it's just in many cases people don't apply it exactly how I'm suggesting it in these videos. So yeah, again, if you have any questions or if you resonate with what I say or how I say things, then reach out, because then one-on-one is where the magic happens. Because I mean, on videos, really, you can't. Understanding what I understand of what it took to become successful, there's no YouTube video that you'll watch that magically will make you become successful or have the best relationship and whatnot. It really comes down to who is the person that you're receiving direct support from, right? And doesn't always have to be someone that you pay, right? The people who always charge you to mentor you, whatever, that's like they're just selling you on something, right? And for me, I have a product that I do sell that allows anyone to learn anything super fast, but I don't even bring that up with most people, right? Sometimes I just give advice, right? Because if you don't even apply the advice I'm giving you, then it's like I'm not gonna work with you, right? So yeah, apply those, share your feedback in the comments, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.